The recordings are trained on the speaker, so it doesn't involve everybody in the group in terms of being on the recording. Happy that you're here and that we get this chance to practice together. It's a wonderful support to be in community when we practice. So much of the time, if we're doing a regular practice, we're going to find ourselves alone some early morning or stealing away at lunchtime or late at night or whatever else. And so it's nice to have some moments to come together and practice. Um, and today I wanted to talk for just a couple minutes about engaging images and the imagination in our practice. And imagination can be a powerful tool when it's grounded in awareness. It's not imagination like we're going off and being somewhere else, but using imagery that engages or helps point to some of the qualities of the practice itself. Um, and these are qualities that can help us in our own commitment to the practice and in our own intentionality in practicing. And I think images from nature hold a particular kind of uh, strength in communicating these kind of universal qualities that show up in nature and show up in this practice. Um, Things like non-attachment, which is so essential for this practice. Um, the practice of stillness or relative stillness, groundedness, openness to what is actually happening without resisting or pushing or holding on, and simplicity and more. There's a host of qualities that we can draw from by using imagery, especially from the natural world. So today I'd like to engage the image of a mountain. It's a fairly popular image that we find across mindfulness meditation schools of teaching and thinking. And so um, you find a position that's relatively comfortable for you. I know, people that take different positions when practicing, which is fine. So you can be seated or lying down or standing. Um, I think for this particular image of the mountain, it's very helpful to have to adopt a seated position. It's just kind of immediately starts to take on that sort of imagery of the mountain. And whatever position you take, let there be a settling in the low body, whether you're standing or seated, and then a lifting or a rising up in the upper part of the body. And taking a few intentional breaths, maybe deepening the breath without pushing or forcing anything, but just inhaling and exhaling very intentionally and slowly and settling in that way. With each out breath, let the body come to relative stillness and groundedness. So there's a few aspects of the image of a mountain that could be helpful for us. Mountains have this kind of rock solid quality to them. They're part of the earth. In a sense, are connected to the center of the earth, the crust of the earth. And that we too are part of the earth, come from the earth. And while mountains are rooted solidly on the ground, connected completely to the earth, they also rise above the earth to the sky. So even just some of those qualities right there can be helpful, that we could see our own kind of rock solid groundedness in this practice, even when the mind is running off on us or daydreaming or getting caught up, that we can still find and connect with that groundedness. And that we also have the capacity to rise above whatever's presenting, whatever's coming and going, emotions, thoughts, sensations, physical sensations, that we can notice them and still rise above and have a greater vision beyond the comings and goings. And the other quality of a mountain is that it stays put, and that we too, during our practice, can engage that quality of just staying put for this time, what we might call an abiding presence of stillness. So allow an image to emerge right now in your mind's eye. Picture a mountain, perhaps the most beautiful mountain that you've seen or even been to. Or if not an actual mountain that you know of, then picture one that you have seen somewhere in a photo or in a movie. But choose a mountain that in some way or another speaks to you. And seeing now this image of the mountain and focusing on it, along with some sense or some feeling of the essence of your own mountainness in you. So you could see some of the detail, maybe noticing the overall shape of the mountain, the lofty peaks, the base rooted in the earth's crust, noticing how massive it is, how unmoving the mountain is. And as in its natural state, that it also has a beauty to it, a beauty that emanates from its unique signature and shape and form. And that while it's unique, it also embodies these universal qualities of what it means to be a mountain. And that those qualities transcend any particular shape or form. And calmly exploring some of the details of this image in your mind's eye as you sit here, gently breathing in and out. And while we can understand the mountain as one that is firm and rooted and solid, it is also one that is changing over time, influenced by the seasons and by weather patterns, by the sun and the moon. And as we sit here seeing this image of the mountain and feeling our own mountainness within, we also might become aware of the changing nature in our lives, that the different weather patterns of our life impact us, the high winds, the cold, the rain, the stormy periods, the darkness or pain or challenges in our own experiences. And we can also acknowledge and even savor those moments of joy and calm and sun. And in this sense, we can bring the mountain into our own body, the body sitting here, and that you and the mountain can, in a sense, become one. That your body can be experienced as strong, grounded, stable, rooted to the earth. That your head becomes like the lofty peak rising up to the sky, And your shoulders and arms are the sides of the mountain, your buttocks and legs, the solid base rooted to the earth, and your own breath flowing like the wind around the summit of a mountain. And let yourself rest in this image, simply being grounded, dignified, present, just like the mountain. It does not try to control or force, it just accepts the weather as it is. By becoming the mountain in this meditation, we can link up with its strength and stability and adopt them as our own. Find that within ourselves. And we can incorporate the mountain energies to support our own efforts to encounter each moment as it is with mindfulness, equanimity, and clarity. So now, for the next several minutes in silence, sitting like a mountain and allowing the stillness to surround us as we sit fully awake. Notice what's happening right now in this moment. And be attentive to the comings and goings of thoughts, emotions, sensations, storylines, judgments. And doing your best to acknowledge wherever the mind has gone off to, whatever the separation from mind and body, and just gently bring it back to the sensation of sitting here, sturdy, steady, grounded. And it doesn't matter where the mind has gone to. The practice does not discriminate, allowing for certain thoughts or emotions and discarding others. So, whatever the weather patterns of the mind is right now, whatever that might be, doing your best to treat them as the mountain treats them, without running off, without resisting, without pushing or holding. This is a very short poem by Li Po. The birds have vanished into the sky, and now the last cloud drains away. We sit together, the mountain and me, until only the mountain remains. Now this is me ringing a gong or ringing a bell, which I don't have, to signify the end of our sit. So gently transitioning from this relative stillness, whether the eyes are closed or open, and just re-engaging maybe with the screen, making some micro movements. We have a few minutes. I'm curious, are there any comments or questions that you'd like to unmute and say or put in the chat? Anything about your practice or that's coming up for you, or something about practicing in this way, using imagery?
I like the imagery.
Oh, go ahead, Dale.
Mountains are difficult for me. I don't think of them as they're beautiful, but they're not friendly. They got there by humongous, for bad word, forces of nature, and they are almighty and powerful. They remind us of our hubris.
Yes. And we had nothing to do with creating them.
Yeah.
Well, maybe we have in some ways, but yeah, I think that's part of it, Dale, is like we can hold all of that, we can be aware of the fierceness of the land, and how the shifting, glacial shifts that create mountains and tectonic plates moving and all that, and be in awe of that, and still also see the beauty of that, much like our own lives that are not all just puppy dogs and roses, that we have major shifts and disruptions and all too, and something emerges from that, not to put icing on top of everything, but it's both, the good and the bad and the difficult and the beauty and ease. Yeah, thanks for sharing that, Dale.
Mark, one thing that came up that it reminded me of was in a yoga class, there was an analogy that was body like a mountain, mind like the sky, heart like, I can't remember the last analogy for the heart, but it was something about like softness for the heart.
Mm.
So kind of reminded me of that.
Yeah, that's nice. Thanks, Allison. Heart like an ocean? No, maybe.
I don't know. It's something about softness for the heart, I think. To me, ocean's not soft.
No. Yeah, I think I find it helpful to have some imagery, and then to see what are the qualities of that image that I can borrow in a sense in my practice, you know. So you might experiment with that. The common ones, at least in the mindfulness-based stress reduction, which is my primary training and what I'm teaching for the most part, we talk about mountain imagery, lake imagery, um, uh, and I've added trees to that. I think, but you can do that for yourself, and that's why it's also helpful to practice in different places. If you have a little outdoor environment or you have a plant next to you, that some of those things you can just reflect on those qualities, that have nothing to do with you, but that you can share and take in yourself. Thank you all. Quick commercial. We just did our Taste of Mindfulness last Sunday, this past Sunday, when we had a nice crowd, 30 or so people, for a little introduction to mindfulness. And we have a full retreat coming up, a weekend retreat coming up. We're calling it a late summer retreat because normally it's more in August, but this year it happens to be in September. It's actually about a month away. It's September 12th through the 14th. And then we'll also be starting 2 8-week courses in September. One of them will be virtual. I'll be teaching that with Ty Azilio, who some of you met here. She subbed in for me a few times. She and I are team teaching. And then there's one that's also in person by another one of our teachers who subbed in once, at least, for us here, Rachel Abraham. So she'll be teaching in person, and Ty and I will be teaching online. So you can find that on the website and register for that if you like. Yeah. Well, thank you all for being here.
Thank you so much.
It's good to see you, Lisa.
Sorry, my video camera's not working, but I'm here.
Mark.
All right. That's all right. Good to see you, Allison, all of you.
All right, take care.
See you, Jake. Hey, Dale, did you want to ask something last week? I wasn't sure. I kind of was getting off, and then I saw that you were still on there.
Yeah, no, I wanted to talk to you about firming up coming to St. Clement's in April next year for
Oh, yeah.
a mindfulness session for our congregation.
That would be great. Yeah,
Uh,
I think I mentioned to you I'm going to St. James.
Yeah,
I think that's in September, maybe October. I don't know.
I was just at church there week before.
Oh, were you?
Yeah, it's a really great environment. It happened to be their name feast day, so everybody was a bubble, and
Oh, that's
it
great.
was
Yeah.
absolutely yeah. It was. I was working at 3 o'clock this morning, so I moved papers all over, and I think it's April 12th. Let me see if I can look at my calendar.
Did you reach
I just
out to Tammy through the info at, the info at Mindfulness Center?
okay.
Tammy's my admin, and she'll get it on the schedule and all, and then we can talk
Okay.
some more about it if
All
you like.
right. Yeah, I just wanted to get it on the schedule so um it didn't you didn't get double booked.
Yeah, that would be wonderful. And I'm looking
Yeah.
forward to St. James. I haven't been there in a while. They've done so much with the centering prayer.
Yes.
So in the early days, when I first moved to town, I was going there a few times because they always had something going on. They had a regular centering prayer group, and then they would do all these workshops and different things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we're trying to start. We're a Kohai Community of Hope International Training Center, but we're just launching ourselves. So we're having the next 9 months, every month we're having a workshop for the congregation on different aspects of being involved. You shall be called to do great things, including taking care of yourself.
Yeah, that's great.
And so we're hopeful. We're doing, and I'm hopeful not only that people get centered on mindfulness, but also would enhance our centering prayer group, which we just started last year. And we have 5 regulars that come.
Good.
And we're a
Yeah,
tiny little, I think we only have 150 families in our church. It's a little itty bitty country church.
that's nice. You can really get to know each other,
Yeah,
Some of the bigger
yeah.
ones are like
Everybody knows
awesome.
everybody.
Yeah.
So, okay.
But yeah,
All
I mean
right.
that, and well, we can talk about whatever, you're envisioning for, but like with St. James, I'm doing mindfulness and centering prayer, like the
Mhm.
relationship between mindfulness and Christianity and centering
Yeah.
prayer specifically. So we can do something like that, or if you have other thoughts about it, we'll
No, that something like that would be great. And I think for us is, everybody's feeling the stress of the world right now, and I think it'd be
Right.
helpful for them to understand that they